difficulties. No, that's not it either. Keep talking. I think I'll figure out what this means later on.
You definitely know quite what it is.
Doing it again. I don't know. This has never happened. Ever.
A lot of guys say that, really.
Really? I think that
Captain James never says that.
Wait. Here, yeah.
Greetings, Fantasy Night fanatics. The Inspector here, and I bring you terrible and disappointing news. I was on my way to Los Angeles, Earth, to attend the Gallifrey, which I assume is some grand celebration of the 50th anniversary of my show. Myself here, next to this giant chair. Well, there can be only two possible explanations. One, I've been abducted by a race of giants, intent on my destruction. Or two, I've been abducted by a mad scientist who has shrunk me down to a fraction of my normal size and is, of course, also intent on my destruction. Well, either way, the situation is dire and grim, and I may in fact be doomed, for there is no possible sign of escape. Oh. That's just a giant chair then. That's a bit ridiculous, don't you think? But that means I can still make the gathering. But I must hurry, for there is no time to waste. Someone stole my booth. Literally, they think he's insane. Anyway, I'm so pleased to be here. I thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I'm going to pass it on back to Matthew, and we'll have some fun later on, eh?
All right. Well, I just want to open up. Does everybody remember their first Inspector Spacetime? Because I want to talk about fans today. What are your fondest memories of Inspector Spacetime? Don't be shy.
It's all right if it's me.
The death of Jeffrey.
That was one of my favorite moments as well.
Oh. Well, he was on the show before he was on that other show. I mean, Inspector Spacetime was the launching pad, really, for his career. And we're very happy that he's had success on that other show. Anyone else? No. Everybody was satisfied with Jeffrey's death because nobody liked Jeffrey.
Can I actually say, like,
I liked Jeffrey.
I didn't like Jeffrey, but he wasn't awful. Like who else thinks he wasn't the worst thing in the world? Anyone? Thank you. Good. Yes. Good.
The worst thing in the world was Horsebot 3000, and I was very happy when he died. Everybody who loves Horsebot is wrong.
Horsebot was great, especially that bit when he saved the day from the Space Buccaneers. That was really, really inspired.
I was reading from Space Buccaneers. Sorry.
You should be sorry. That's blasphemous.
Come on, memories, people. Come on. What?
Steve Carell.
It's been really great that he's gone on to such stardom after getting a start on it.
Frankly, nobody liked it at the time. It's not until Steve became a huge star in America that everybody started liking the TV movie.
I heard they even have a restored prop somewhere here at the convention.
Yeah, really, I'll have to check that out.
Well, like a fine smelly cheese, it has aged well with time. The movie, yes. Actually, the movie is what got me in. I have to, you know, that's probably a sad confession to make, but when I saw the movie, I was like, what is this? I need more. And then I discovered all of this back catalog, and it was wonderful. And then the new series came back, and I couldn't get enough. And then, you know, Peaceness blew my mind. I mean,
I'm actually kind of in a similar boat. Like I started watching with the Steve Carell movie because it was Steve Carell and I knew who he was. It was terrible. It was terrible. We can agree. Even if you liked it, it was a pretty bad movie. But that's actually what inspired me to write for the show. Like I wanted to kind of improve what it was doing, what it was trying to do. That's kind of how I got involved.
I liked the advanced use of holograms. I thought that we were pushing envelopes with that. Now, are there people, I wonder, are there enough people who are not familiar with Inspector Spacetime, especially the earlier years? Are there some of you who just here because, hey, it's a crowded room and lots of people laughing? All right. Did you go through the history?
Well, not yet.
It might be a good time. And I have to say that Peaceness has its audience. I'm not really a fan myself of family-friendly fare. It's a little too Disney for me. But I like a harder edge on my sci-fi. But
Rise of the Blog-On Woman was fabulous. I've seen it like 120 times. I mean, you have to admit that was pretty fluffy.
Sure.
I mean, it was fluffy in a good way.
But did they have to make her fly by giving her actual fairy wings?
Well,
I feel like there was a better way around that.
All right, well, let's move on to the history show. Of Inspector Spacetime, not that.
Take it away.
All right. Next one. The first only stayed for one season because he wanted to go work in Italy on that little musical effort. He stayed, he's the one who got the next one on, Christopher Lee.
I ship it.
Now, most people think of him as, well, sort of a very much darker, very more strange and surreal inspector, simply because he was working at Hammer at the time doing the Hammer horror film, and for his own time restriction, most of his adventures were filmed on the set where he was wearing the costume.
In one scene, you can actually still see his fangs. It's fabulous.
That's explained away by the mad dental hygienist. Next, we come to Bernard Spock.
I will never accept an inspector with a mustache.
He was there for 4 years, did much other great work at the time, but then of course he went on to fame in The Mummy, the 1990s Brendan Fraser film. Then at the end of the black and white years, we have the fourth Inspector Meredith Goring, magnificent actor, very facially expressive, but didn't talk very much. He was very, very popular on the crew. The fifth, Linda Bellingham. The female inspector, who then went on later to work on that other show.
I get told by crew a lot, I wish you could be a little more Linda. I don't know what they mean, but I take it as a compliment.
Next up. Graham was doing this for the money, basically. He wasn't ever having really a good time. He was very down in the dumps and drinking an awful lot, and that's why he's known as the Dour Doctor. That outfit that his inspector wore was actually the clothes he wore on a given day of the week.
I often get told I wish you could be a little less grand.
Well, yeah, and I was reading this one thing at one point.
Well, he wrote the show out with the final original classic series season. Stephen Fry went on to great things, especially when he was working on it with Stu and Laurie. He's done a couple of other things more recently, but I'm not really much up on them. I don't get as much notice.
there's a quiz show or something.
I just don't like actors whose last names are verbs.
And then
My
And Anne Hathaway got a lot of work after this. No, not altogether terribly to me with the rest of these people. It's classic black and white. But this guy's done something with that kid beside him. Something Inspector Spacetime was very, very good for his career. Allowed him to go do that wizard.
He never would have done Harry Potter if it weren't for Inspector Spacetime first. So he really owes us a deep debt of gratitude, and I'm still waiting for my call.
Next up, Daniel Landlord, otherwise known as Chris Odie, otherwise known as Daniel Landlord. There were rights issues with each name that he decided to use. So, that was...
It's still tied up in court, I think.
I'm not even supposed to say his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, I think you have to like pay royalties to poor people if you do this, you know.
Next up is,
That means a lot. Thank you for showering me with self-esteem. I got a lot of flack, actually, my first year. A lot of people did not like such a young inspector. And, but it seems to have worked out, eh?
right, but still, memories. What do you fans remember about the show? What was your first show? Name some episodes. Come on, don't be shy. Yes.
My first introduction to the show was the audios, actually. I never saw it in the video until...
that little star. That's
yeah.
Very good company. So let me hear from one of them. Has anybody seen them? No,
No, that's a bar. I mean, all the time.
They're always
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I watched that late night while drunk, and yeah, bad stuff happened. Bad stuff. Yeah.
We actually go back to a lot of the scarier ones these days just to get inspiration. So if you like some of the darker episodes, like in the past year or so, it's actually in part because of stuff like that. Unfortunately, you're asking the wrong person. I'm actually just a staff writer. Yeah, I know. I mean, everybody's kind of pushing for it, but nobody really knows. It's a whole lot of legal stuff.
The producers would have been here, but they're at their day job at the moment at Danny's. They just couldn't get off shift. They would really love to be here. They're very sorry. Yes.
I wanted to know if you could explain the plot of the Saturn special, Dimensions in Spacetime.
I didn't understand it really. I thought it was sort of like a television choose-your-own-adventure, really.
I think it was attempting to tie up a lot of loose ends, but they either like forgot specifics or they remembered specifics that they had come up with like in the writer's room that never actually made it to air. So it just really, and it just kind of made it like a big hot mess. And
I heard somebody forgot to put page numbers on the script, and it got out of control.
I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I mean it got weird. I'll admit that it got pretty weird.
You're all being very harsh. I thought it was very simple. It's very reverse temporal mechanics, in which every decision we make causes an alternate past to exist for us behind us. And so if you travel back in time, you can choose which past of yours you can visit. It's really very simple.